That can be found on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Back to the Nigerian Tribune. I have this sad one that says, Kano youth born school where 5-year-old was murdered. With the rider's suspect remanded in prison. I will assent to death sentence judgment is passed. Gaduje. That is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And concerning judges, it says NBA finds San 6 other lawyers guilty of influencing judges. Page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Another one says winning Ekiti first step to rescuing Nigeria. Ayu with a rider Oni Fayoshe orders meet for fence mending. And on Lagos Island fracas, police arrest NURTW leaders Kunle Poli Tafa Shego, and that is found on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. With this, we will go for a short break to come back for the details of the newspaper.
Ìpẹ̀lọ́ náà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yóò sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò. Pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán kọ́. Àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọ rírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ. Gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
Iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
Ọgbà tí àṣẹ jiná lóde ìrànjẹ́ làwọn aláṣẹ ìjókòó tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ. Ọba ni wọ́n ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná. Ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà. Ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògèrè. LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun tòògùn àti irinṣẹ́ tó kójú owó. Iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì ìdákẹ́jádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ààbò tó dájú òun ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ. Òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa. Ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yóò sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò. Pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán kọ́. Àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọ rírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ. Gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
Iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
You're welcome back to the details of newspaper review on your darling station Aloore Radio, transmitted from GSM studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan. You can like and share on Facebook at www.facebook.aloore/Aloore Radio, and on YouTube it is Aloore Radio. The website remains www.alooreradio.com. The first story I'm going to read is on the Nigerian Tribune, and it says, no petrol subsidy removal for now, Finance Minister. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, and his counterpart in the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, has said the federal government is not in a hurry to remove subsidy on petroleum products. The deal explained that the provision was made for subsidy payments to marketers in the 2022 budget. They made the disclosure on Monday at a session with President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmad Lawan, and other principal officers of the Red Chamber. The Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, in a submission said that there was provision for subsidy payment in the 2022 budget till end of June, declaring that the payment would cease effective from July. He said, and I quote, provision was made in the 2022 budget for subsidy payment from January till June. That suggests that from July there will be no subsidy. The provision was made as a sequel to the passage of the Petroleum Industry Act, which indicated that all petroleum products would be deregulated. For the rest of that story, turn to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. No petrol subsidy removal for now, Finance Minister. And I have another story on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. It says, the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, says it has identified 7 lawyers, including a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, that influenced judges to issue conflicting court orders, especially on political matters. The 7 lawyers, according to the president of the NBA, Mr. Olumide Akpata, were found culpable by the investigation committee set up by the association. Addressing newsmen in Abuja, Akpata said the indicted lawyers will be charged before the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, LPDC, with junctural misconduct. He said, and I quote, some lawyers have been identified to have played roles in conflicting decisions that emanated from different courts recently. They are 7 in number, including a senior advocate of Nigeria. For the rest of that story, turn to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. NBA finds SAN 6 lawyers guilty of influencing judges to give conflicting orders. And on page 4, I have the story that says Kano youths burn school where 5-year-old girl was murdered, with a rider suspect remanded in prison. I will assent to death sentence once judgment is passed, Gaduje. Some angry youths in the Kano state have raised the property used as a school where a 5-year-old girl, Anifa Abubakar, was killed last week, allegedly by the school proprietor Abdul Malik Tanko. Residents of Dakata area in Kwana, Dankata, Nasarawa local government area of the state, where the Noble Kids Academy is located, however, condemned the burning down of the building, saying the structure was not owned by the suspects. Angry youths on Sunday night set the building ablaze. When the Nigerian Tribune visited the area on Monday, it was observed that the upper part of the building was completely burnt. It was also learned that the security personnel deployed outside the school premises were not at the scene when the aggrieved persons stormed the area. Some residents who spoke to newsmen in separate interviews said that the aggrieved persons set the school on fire at about 1 a.m., adding that it took the intervention of residents and operatives of the State Fire Service to put out the fire. For the rest of that story, turn to page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Kano youths burn school where 5-year-old girl was murdered. And still on crime, bandits kill 1, abduct 15 in Niger. Bandits at the weekend invaded some communities in Rafi local government area of Niger State, where 1 person was reportedly killed, while 15 villagers, mostly women, were abducted. It was gathered that one of the communities attacked was Batagari village in Maikujeri district of the council area, where the bandits stormed with several motorcycles. It was gathered that they shot in the air on arrival in order to instill fear in the residents. It was learned that after creating panic in the village, the bandits began moving from house to house, where they carted away valuable properties and foodstuffs before abducting their victims, who were mostly women. For the rest of that story, still turn to page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Bandits kill 1, abduct 15 in Niger. And on your news, I have this on page 5. It says, overhaul Oyo public schools infrastructures, NAS urge Makinde. The National Association of Sea Dogs, NAS, Pirates Confraternity, Jolly Rogers, DEC, Oyo State Chapter, has urged the Governor Seyi Makinde-led administration to urgently carry out an overhaul of infrastructural facilities in the state's public schools. This, the association noted, has become expedient owing to the gap in infrastructural facilities in schools, whether primary, secondary, or tertiary, that contains to be expanded owing to the increasing number of admission seekers in the state. This association, in a statement by the chapter president, Mr. Adeniji said such overhaul of infrastructural facilities and basic amenities was critical for the state to boast of conducive teaching and learning environment for both students and teachers. That is found on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Overhaul public schools infrastructure, NAS urges Makinde. And still on page 5, I have this one that says court issues warrant of arrest against Desiani. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Monday issued a warrant for the arrest of former Minister of Petroleum Resources Desiani Alison Madueke in the United Kingdom. Justice Bolaji Olajuwon issued the order after he had an oral application by Farouk Abdullahi, the lawyer representing the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC. EFCC said its investigations revealed that the former minister, who is facing several money laundering charges, has remained in a hideout in the United Kingdom and refused to return to the country to enter a plea to the charges profiled against her by the Anti-Graft Commission. The FCC lawyer told the court that all efforts by the agency to get the former minister extradited to the country proved abortive. Abdullahi stressed that the warrant of arrest would enable the EFCC to persuade the international police, Interpol, to arrest Desiani and also help the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice to facilitate extradition. For more of that story, turn to page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Court issues warrants of arrest against Desiani. On page 5 of the Punch newspaper, I have this one that says, bandits raid Niger village, kill 1, abduct 15, steals valuable. That has been, the twin of that story has been read on the page of the Nigerian Tribune. And on page 8, I have another story on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. I beg your pardon. Court issues warrants for Desiani's arrest over failed extradition. We just got check that one on the pages of the Nigerian Tribune also. Page 19. I have another story on page 19 that says, wait till 2027, Dokpesi tells Southeast sells Atiku for 2023 presidency. The leader of the technical committee, Atiku Abubakar presidential campaign, Chief Raymond Dokpesi, has solicited support for a one-term presidency for the former vice president. He said if elected, Atiku will rule for a single term of 4 years, which would pave way for the Southeast to produce the president in 2027. Dokpesi, who spoke in Umuahia, Abia State on Monday, maintained that Atiku, who hails from the Northeast geopolitical zone, is the right person to wrestle power from the All Progressive Congress. The media mogul was at the state secretariat of the People's Democratic Party for consultations with the party leaders in the state. Dokpesi revealed that the PDP zoning arrangement was not honored during the 2015 presidential elections, and consequently the party went into the election with a divided house and lost. Turn to page 19 for more details. Wait till 2027, Dokpesi tells Southeast sells Atiku for 2023 presidency. Still on the Punch newspaper, I have this one that says 32 arrested over killing of policeman, businessman in Niger deadly fight. The Niger State Police Command has arrested 32 persons in connection with a fight that led to the death of 2 persons, including a policeman and a businessman last week in Minna, the state capital. The command's police relations officer, Wasiu Abiodun, disclosed in a statement on Monday that the arrests were made after the gang fight that occurred between the Limawa and Ogumosho youths. For the rest of that story, turn to page 20 of the Punch newspaper. 32 arrested over killing of businessman in Niger deadly fight. On the Nigerian Tribune, I have a story on page 6 and 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Why we can't stop indiscriminate pasting of posters. OAAN. The Outdoor Advertising Association of Nigeria, OAAN, has stated that the association has not been able to wield the big stick despite the flagrant disregard of the rules guiding outdoor advertising practice and the indiscriminate pasting of posters in Lagos, because such disciplinary powers no longer reside with them. The association's president, Chief Emma Ajufo, in an exclusive interview, said in Lagos recently that though indiscriminate pasting of posters have been outlawed in the state, some individuals and companies had continued to flout it since enforcement of such law were becoming fragile by the day. He urged that if allowed to flourish, indiscriminate pasting of posters has been presently practiced would continue to affect the growth of the outdoor advertising sector, since it would give room for non-qualified practitioners to call the shots in the sector. For more of that story, turn to page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Why we can't stop indiscriminate pasting of posters. Oil price falls on struck dollars. Potential Fed rate increases. That is on page 7. Oil prices fell about 2% on Monday, hit by investors' concern over the possibility of quicker than expected interest rate hikes by the U.S. Federal Reserve that took down risk markets such as equities, while the dollar rallied. According to Reuters, Wall Street stocks slumped after last week posting their worst week since 2020, pulling down risk assets like crude. Everything is being taken out of the good shed, and the wood shed is pretty crowded place, said John Clifford, a partner at Again Capital Management. For the rest of that story on the oil price, turn to page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Oil price falls on strong dollar. Potential Fed rate increases. And on page 15, I have this story that says, Chieftaincy crisis. Traditional rulers killed, 3 burned to ashes in Ogun. The Alagodo of Agodo in Ewekoro local government area of Ogun State, Oba Ayinde Odetola, has been assassinated by yet to be identified individuals on Monday. Nigerian Tribune gathered that 3 other persons said to be friends of the deceased monarch were also burned to ashes. Information added that there had been crisis over chieftaincy title of Alagodo over who occupies the seat between Ake and Owu people of Egba land. The late monarch, it was gathered, was from the Ake section of Egba, while there had been crisis that an Ake person cannot administer the town mainly dominated by Owu people. It was learned that a brother to the late monarch was gruesomely murdered not too long ago. Oba Odetola was reportedly killed at about 11 a.m. alongside his friends when they got to the town from an outing, according to a source. One of the siblings of the late traditional ruler, who identified herself as Chief Adenike Akintade, confirmed the death of her brother. That is found on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Chieftaincy crisis. Traditional ruler killed, 3 burns to ashes in Ogun. Still on page 15, I have this story that says Buhari NDE to train women, youths, farmers. A governorship aspirant in 2023 general election in Oyo State and senator currently representing Oyo North Senatorial District, Dr. Buhari Abdul Fattah, has facilitated a 2-day training aimed at empowering over 400 beneficiaries across local governments in the district. The trainings, according to Buhari, will take place for the 2 days in 3 different locations across Oyo North by the National Directorate of Employment (NDA). The senator in a statement noted that selected youths from the 13 local government area will receive the training at Oba Wuraola Hall, Ìṣẹ̀yìn. Also during the same period, over 100 women selected across the district shall also converge at Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ Parapọ̀ Hall for training in small-scale businesses. For the rest of this story, turn to page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Buhari NDE to train women, youth, farmers. And last but not the least is a sports story. It says Russia invasion of Ukraine would be disastrous. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has warned Russia that invading Ukraine will be disastrous and a painful, violent and bloody business. Speaking at the Foreign Office, pulled some embassy staff out of Ukraine, the PM said the situation was pretty gloomy, but war was not inevitable. BBC reported that Johnson said the UK was leading on creating a package of economic sanctions against Russia and was supplying defensive weaponry to Ukraine. NATO is putting force in standby. It says this is reinforcement its defenses and for purposes of deterrence, and it's also sending an additional ship and fighter jets to member states in Eastern Europe as a response to continue building up of Russian forces. For the rest of that story of world news, turn to page 17 of the Nigerian Tribune. Russian invasion of Ukraine will be disastrous, and concerning COVID-19, UK cancelled travel tests for doubly vaccinated. People arrived in England for abroad will no longer have to take COVID-19 tests if they have been fully vaccinated, the Prime Minister has confirmed. That ends today's newspaper review. Join us tomorrow morning for another edition of Newspaper Review. Thank you for listening. I am Olukemi Omotosho. Like and share on Facebook and our website.